My name is Gene Scarpato. I'm the mayor of the village of Lynbrook. And this is going to be a program that will take probably about 25 minutes for you to see. And as we've been advertising in local papers and my column, weekly column, we are entering into a new phase in Lynbrook that is basically the first on Long Island to address residents of Lynbrook. These programs of gas savings has been introduced to commercial establishments, but never on this scale to residents. And the village of Lynbrook is going to be the first. And we are proposing that this coming Saturday at Grice Park that we will have a sign up for people. Now we had about 1,800 people signed up for the program so many months ago, but in that period of time, negotiating and sending out, looking for the company that we would represent us in this venture, it took a little time. And we're still working towards ironing out some of the final minutes on this, but we now have selected a company. And I have two gentlemen besides Trustee Tom Mishu, who has been my right-hand man for the village on this issue. We have two gentlemen here from Wix Energy, a company that we awarded the contract to represent us in the gas producing area, and that we could save our residents. We don't know exactly the figure yet, but it'll be in the area of 10%. And for residents, and for commercial people, maybe up to 17 or 18%. I'd like to introduce the two gentlemen at this point. It's Mr. Ed Carey, who is the Vice President of Wix, and Mr. Brian Hardy, who's the General Manager. And these gentlemen are going to explain their part in this whole process, and we're very happy to be able to do this for our residents. As I did say, we are the very first on Long Island to try to do this, and it's going to work. I think I'll also right now let Tom Mishu bring you up to date on actually what process we've gone through to this point to bring it to this stage, and maybe then Brian or Red could tell us their end of it. Tom, would you like to reiterate what
Thank you, Mayor.
we've gone through?
It's been a long process. Well over a year ago, we began the process by interviewing and meeting with several of the major gas producing companies, natural gas producing in the United States. It's been a long process. We interviewed many companies, and in fact, many companies dropped out of the process because they were not necessarily interested in providing services to the residential homeowner. All of the major companies want to get involved in the big commercial users, the office buildings, the diners, the people that use a lot of gas, but many were reluctant to get involved in this small residential homeowner like you and I. So we interviewed quite a number of people, did a tremendous amount of research. Then we had a process in the early spring where we had a bid selection. We looked at the results of that bid selection process and decided to go back into the marketplace, developed a new set of requirements, had a second round of bidding, and as a result of that process, which again has taken a little over a year to do, we have selected Wix Energy, which is a company based here, their local office based right here in Rockville Center, our next door neighbor. They're a very large company. I'd like to, at this time, turn that over to Mr. Ed Carey and Brian Hardy to give a little bit of background on Wix Energy. Gentlemen?
Thank you. We appreciate the opportunity to be involved with the village of Lynbrook. We'd like to thank Eugene in particular for the initiative that you've shown, and Tom for the guidance in bringing this about. I think it's a new program. It's a program that I think its time has come. As Tom has mentioned, the decontrol of natural gas for New York State took place back in the beginning of 1996, and there was quite a bit of activity at at the inception of decontrol, and Tom correctly stated, most of the attraction was to the large users, and part of that attraction was due to the fact that the large users have not only a volume attraction, but they have an even distribution of gas. Their consumption runs on a fairly steady basis over 12 months. So the economies of both scale and uniformity of burn are the two desirable aspects of the gas business. The market, as you get down to the residential user, becomes thinner and thinner. So there wasn't an awful lot of attraction to going after the residential business until the village of Lynbrook, in particular, came up with the idea of municipal cooperation. And the attraction of municipal cooperation is that it certainly assists in the marketing of gas, in that you don't have to get involved in the expense of heavy telemarketing, heavy sales expense, and can reach the community and be able to contain your costs to the point where those benefits will roll through to the consumer. We agree that we are looking at the ability to provide natural gas to the residents here in Lynbrook at savings in the area of about 10% versus service from the local distribution company. The program has taken a year to develop. It's been well thought out. It's been tested twice in the form of requests for proposals, and by doing so, the plan has been worked through several times to really come forward with a plan that is of full benefit to the community. We'd like to also say, I think, that in this plan, we see this as a forerunner for other services as well. We anticipate bringing to the community long-distance telephone service opportunities, internet opportunities, and eventually, when the market is opened, electrical service. So there are many applications to this concept of working with the village. We have also been able, as a result of developing this program together, been able to develop a stream of income that would be returned to the village in compensation for their services. So it's a form of non-tax income that goes towards maintaining the expenses and the avoiding any additional tax burdens that may result in later years. So it's kind of a win-win program in all respects. We look forward to the sign-up program on Saturday and Monday and Thursday, and we look forward to meeting with the residents and explaining the program in more detail. We should say that Wix Energy is part of a larger corporation. Our parent company is also the parent of a nationwide building materials corporation, and it has representation in some 30 states across the country. And as we are able to demonstrate the success of programs of this sort here in Lynbrook, we look forward to duplicating those on a national basis.
Thank you, Ed. I know you're based in Florida, I believe, but you have an office in Rockville Center in case we need you. We can get you very quickly. And the other point we had a meeting this morning prior to this television show here that with Michael Bauer is in president. He was representing MarketSpan, who is tied into this whole program of deregulation and deregulation of where choice programs are involved, where we could go anywhere and get our gas and brought in, and we could buy it as bulk and resell it to our residents and just turn over the savings to the residents. And the big factor in this whole thing is that because we are a municipal gas company now, we can avoid all of the taxes, the sales taxes and the franchise taxes and other taxes that you are presently paying now with your bill from previously local, which is now Brooklyn Union Gas. Am I correct?
MarketSpan.
Or MarketSpan. So as for us doing now the buying and redistributing it to you through Wix Energy, we're saving that taxes, which is a big part of the 10, 11%, whatever it is, we're going to be able to save. And for commercial, a lot more. Now, those of you that use gas to heat your home are going to see very nice savings at the end of the year. Those of you that use a small amount of gas, there'll be a savings, but not as much as the gas the people who use gas to heat their homes. So I'd like now to ask Brian Hardy to explain his role in this whole process. He's been the upfront contact right from the beginning and pounded our doors constantly to make us aware that Wix Energy was very, very interested in this program, because many companies across the United States, we found out, Tom and I found out, that weren't interested in the trouble, and there is trouble, going after residential gas users. It just didn't pay for them, but Wix Energy stepped forward and knocked everybody on their whatever, and came through. So Brian, why don't you address what you have, what you intend to do for us?
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. I can only echo Ed Carey's statements, and that we're absolutely delighted to be a part of the Lynbrook community at this point, and we look forward to a long-standing relationship with the community in the future. About a year ago, I guess it was a little over a year ago, you decided to form a municipal electric utility, and at that time, or right around that time, I contacted the mayor and I said, geez, we'd like to be your gas supplier if that was something of interest to you. So we followed it up for a considerable period of time, and through referendum, overwhelming referendum, I might add, from my understanding of it, the village approved the municipal gas utility, which we were very pleased to see at that point. We competed on a very competitive process on an ongoing basis, as Mr. Miccio, Trustee Miccio mentioned to you, and that we were absolutely delighted to be part of this, part of the process and be selected by the Village of Lynbrook to serve you, the consumer. And we look forward to working with you and providing savings to you as the years come and go, and being part of the community.
Okay, well, now, what we have to do now is go back to you, the residents of the Village of Lynbrook, and ask you once again to come forward to sign. Now, 1,800 of you, 1,800 homes and businesses signed up already, and you thought maybe that was the end of it. Well, it's not, because federal requirements and state requirements and Wix requirements and also MarketSpan's requirements mainly say that we need other signatures from you, and that's why we need you to come in and sign up once again. And we are trying to make it as easy as possible, and I think I'm going to have Tom explain what we have done in that and when you can do this, and we have 2 forms for you to sign, and maybe between the 3 gentlemen to my left here, they'll be able to explain what we're going to do beginning Saturday. Tom?
Okay. Again, we had at one point thought that perhaps the initial postcard type item that we sent out would be sufficient for the sign-up period. In discussions that we have had and our village attorney has had, and discussions with Wix, with the state and with other regulatory agencies, it became clear that that card was not enough from a legal standpoint to actually switch you over to become a Village of Lynbrook gas utility customer. And so in working with both Brian and Ed, we've developed a form, actually 2 forms, and boiled them down to the point where it's as simple as possible to sign up to become a Village of Lynbrook customer. And the first form is a one-page form. I know you probably really can't see this. This will be the first form that we'll go over on Saturday. This is a gas sale agreement form. This will be a form that the customer, you the resident, and I as a resident, will sign up with the Village of Lynbrook Gas Utility, in which you will actually purchase the gas itself. If you spend $1 on your gas bill today, approximately 35% of that bill is for the actual gas component. The remaining 65 or 70% of your bill is really everything else, which the industry lumps under the term of transportation. Included in the transportation is the meter reading, the actual transportation of the gas from the wellhead to your house, emergency services, all of the billing, all of the other services that are involved in making a gas utility run other than the gas itself. This piece of paper is a transaction between you, the resident, and the Village of Lynbrook Utility, the actual purchase of the gas. That's a one-page document, relatively straightforward. Second document's a little bit more complicated. This is what's called a transportation agreement. This is an agreement between you, the resident, and MarketSpan. MarketSpan is what we used to call LILCO. It's the successor to LILCO. And in this document, what you will be doing is you will be telling MarketSpan that I'm not a MarketSpan customer anymore. I'm now a Village of Lynbrook customer, but you're authorized to move the gas through your system to my house, and I'm going to pay you, or we're going to pay you for that service. In effect, the service and transportation and the billing and all of the other things that you're paying for right now in that 70 cents of your bill that's called transportation is going to remain exactly the same. And this document will echo that. So there really be no change whatsoever. And that's a good point to bring up again. The service will be exactly the same as it is today. The only difference will be in the form of the billing. You'll be getting a separate bill for the commodity, that 30 cents on the dollar that represents the gas. That'll be a separate Village of Lynbrook gas utility bill. There will also be a section of your current LIPA bill for the transportation. So that number will still stay because MarketSpan LIPA is handling that side of the business now. So really what we've done is there's one side and then there's a few other items on this side, and we've boiled that agreement down to just these 2 pages. Originally it was considerably more than that. And this form has passed muster with both the state and other regulatory agencies. So after a lot of work and a lot of thought going into this, we've made the process of signing up for the Village of Lynbrook gas utility as simple as possible.
All right, thank you, Tom. You did a great job in explaining. Really, I mean, we went through an awful lot to get to this point, and this morning when we had our meeting, we banged out a lot of other little items, and the tax is the big important part of this whole savings, and what we banged out this morning is possibly the best part of it is transportation. There's taxes on that we may be able to avoid. So that's why we really can't pinpoint the exact savings to you today, because we're waiting for that answer, and that answer seems very positive, but it would be not good for us to say, yes, you're going to get it. But I believe, and we all believe, that we've worked out a system this morning where we can save the sales tax, well, for sure on the business people, but also residential, and the transportation tax as well, and the franchise tax as well. And if all those 3 are eliminated, the savings could be a lot more than we're guessing at. But those answers will probably take a few days to get. So we don't have that exact number, but we're depending on you to rely on us, actually, to come through with the goods, and it will be at least 10%, and it could be more. And we don't want to be actually to say that what it will actually be. I can't tell you that right now. But with the hard work of Brian and Ed here, and with Tom right here every moment on this issue, it's come to this point. And maybe sometime during the last year or so you said, well, it sounds like a bunch of baloney. It's taken so darn long. Well, it did take a long time, but we're here now, and we're offering it to our residents You don't have to sign up, and if you do sign up, I believe you have to stay on for a year. And but the guarantee that these gentlemen have made, and I'll let you talk about it, is that what you pay will never be more than you are paying presently. Is that correct? Any one of you want to address
That's
those guarantees?
Well, I think that that's a important point. I think that it's important for the viewers to recognize that decontrol is a process, and we are probably very much like what has happened between LIPA and the old Lilco situation. That it's an evolving program. Decontrol is also playing a part there too. And that over the course of time and through the unbundling of the rates that are presently being charged by now market span, there'll be more savings. And those savings will be achieved by virtue of breaking out from the current charges all of the items that are included there, and the ratepayers will at that point have an opportunity to pick and choose the types of service that they want. And those services will be competitive services, so that they no longer be just a part of the bill. I think the important, one of the important features of what we have to offer is savings, of course, but the savings achieved through a fixed price. And we, as opposed to the variable prices that are charged by the utility through gas adjustment clauses and weather adjustment clauses, we offer a fixed price for a 12-month period, and that price will at any point never exceed the present cost from Lilco. The important part of recognizing the difference between a company that's selling a deregulated commodity such as gas and a regulated utility is that the regulated utility has its pricing has been approved by state regulatory bodies, the Public Service Commission, and that rate is established on what the utility has spent in the way of capital investment. Consequently, when volumes fall and the cash flow falls along with it, adjustments are made on the customer's bills to bring that level of cash back up to support the debt that the company carries. The independent marketing groups are not burdened by that debt and therefore able to offer more competitive pricing. But that's a long way around explaining how we can do fixed pricing versus utilities.
It's a difficult situation, but we're here now, and I believe that what I have to say to you is thank you, residents, for your patience. And there is one more issue that you might be interested in, and that is billing. How will you be billed, and how many bills would you get in this whole thing? And Brian, would you like to address that, because there may be two bills?
Sure, there are going to be two bills. Trustee Michio mentioned it just a little while ago, but you'll be getting a bill from Market Span, and you'll be getting a bill from the Lynbrook Municipal Utility. Okay. So that, we'll be providing the services to back up that, so that the bills hopefully will always be correct. And but if you have any questions, there'll be adequate numbers on those bills for you to call, and service will essentially remain the same, but getting two bills is part of the deregulation process.
Okay.
I've just been handed a reminder. When you come on Saturday, or if you come on other sessions during the week, be sure to bring your current LIPA bill. The reason we need to do that is we're going to be filling out these two forms, and both forms require the actual your customer number on that document, so that we can take that account and move it over, so that you go from being a LIPA customer to a Lynbrook customer. Just one other quick thought to build on what Ed was saying and what Brian was saying. Down the road, there are going to be unbundling of certain services that Market Span, the old Lilco, charges now, and we think there are opportunities for us to save even more. So this is really the beginning of the process, and we're going to be looking for savings as the as the program ages out over the next few years. So this isn't something that's just going to happen now and just stay stagnant. We anticipate additional opportunities for savings all the way through.
Okay, just going back to finally say on Saturday, this coming Saturday at the Recreation Building in Grice Park, we will be there from 9 a.m. to 1 a.m. to answer additional questions that you might have and, of course, to sign you up. And then what we're trying to do, and then after that, we will have another session at the public library. And is that on Monday? This coming Monday from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. in our public library upstairs there. And then again at the Village Hall from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and that's Thursday of next week. So we will give you 3 opportunities, but that won't end there. We'll continue. During the week, any one of you could come down to the Village Hall and sign up with Dave Smollett, who Deputy Village Clerk will be there with forms for you to sign up there. So you have time, but we have a goal to try to get us online so that we can get into the winter session where you will be making your major savings in money and you start to use more heat. So more gas to heat your homes and so forth. So would anyone like to wind up with your final statements? I think we have about a minute and a half or so left.
I'll just say again, it's been a long process. We started over a year ago, and I've learned a tremendous amount about the energy industry. And there are, besides this opportunity, there are other opportunities in terms of, as I said, unbundled services, other services that we're looking at. It's nice to be on the cutting edge of something. We are perhaps the first utility in the state to really offer these kinds of savings to the residential homeowner, and it's quite an exciting time.
Ed? You
Thank
have
you,
about
Gene.
20 seconds.
I think
Sound like Joe Prokop there.
we'd like to thank you again, and I'd like to also point out that the conveniences that you have today in the form of payment for your utilities will be the same with our program. That is budget payments, local direct payments through local banks and what have you. So that there should be no change really from what you're accustomed to.
Brian?
We look forward to serving you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, everyone, and your residents for your patience again. And it's been a pleasure, and hopefully we've educated you a little bit, and we can educate you more. But it really makes me feel very, very wonderful to be able to offer this service to you and to be the first on Long Island to do so. Thank you very, very much.